What's poppin', players? Part 3 of the Ballin MCs. Have y'all been enjoying it? Have y'all checked out the playlist yet? Hopefully so. Let's get to it. Now, we be treating the sixth man in the NBA like stepbrothers. Lou Williams, Lemon Pepper Lou, Sweet Lou. When he come in the game, he heat up instantly like the Human Torch. He come in like a gorilla. Don Tripp. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Lou Williams, Don Tripp, Gorilla. Other sixth man, Jamal Crawford. He always seemed like he was at war with himself when he was playing the game. Always wanted to be like Mike, Starlito. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Jamal Crawford, Starlito, like Mike. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Jim Jackson, Mr. Ohio, Stally. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Jim Jackson, Stally, Ohio. Next up on the list, Meta World Peace. Might be Ron Artest if he was going back and looking for some footage. Walking on the court, he looking to D up your best player like who want what? Benny Siegel. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Meta World Peace, Benny Siegel, who want what? Next up on the list, Dame Lillard, Goat Spirit, Dame Dollar, self-explanatory. Is he playing basketball or is he rapping? I don't know. You be the judge. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Dame Lillard, Dame Dollar, Goat Spirit. Next up on the list, let's see who I got up next. Randy Moss. You know when he was going down the sideline, he threw that arm up like, I'm open. You knew he was about it. Throw it to him. Master P. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Randy Moss, Master P, bout it. Hope I ain't got to pay for that P. Next up on the list, Russell Westbrook. It seemed like he would be a cool player to play with. Always seemed like he gonna give his all, never cheat the game, and play where you need him to play. He a real player partner. Daz, Dillinger. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Russell Westbrook, Daz Dillinger, player partner. Next up on the list, Swin Cash. It was always warning when she got the ball, she was going to score. Remy Ma verse, off warning. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Swin Cash, Remy Ma, the warning verse. Next up on the list, Big Dog, Glenn Robinson. When he heated up, it was like 400 degrees. Juvenile, the first big dog on Cash Money. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Glenn Big Dog Robinson, Juvenile, 400 degrees. Next up on the list, Agent Zero, Gilbert Arenas. When he was in his bag, he was a bad boy. Shine. Whoa! Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Gilbert Arenas, Shine, Bad Boy. Next up on the list, John Starks. Did he smile? He always had that look on his face like, kill that noise. MC Shan. Next up on the list of the Ballin' MCs, John Starks, MC Shan, Kill That Noise. Next up on the list, Brittany Griner. We rock rough and puff with my Afro puffs. I mean, rock rough and tough with my Afro puffs. Big Bad Lady, Lady of Rage. Next up on the list of the Ballin' MCs, Brittany Griner, Lady of Rage, Big Bad Lady. Next up on the list, Paul George. When he get the ball, he always a threat to score. Or should we say, threat to society. 2 Chainz. Next up on the list of the Ballin' MCs, Paul George, 2 Chainz, threat to society. Here we go with another. Next up on the list, Klay Thompson. When he score on you, he give you that blank face look, schoolboy Q. Next up on the list of the Ballin' MCs, Klay Thompson, schoolboy Q, blank face. Next up on the list of the Ballin' MCs, Draymond Green, J-Rock, Win. Next up on the list of the Ballin' MCs, Stephon Marbury. When he got the ball and you had to guard him, I'm sure you got adrenaline rush. And I'm sure when he got the ball as fast as he was moving, he got an adrenaline rush. Twister. Next up on the list of the Ballin' MCs, Stephon Marbury, Twister, adrenaline rush. Next up on the list, Derek Fisher. You know, if he got the ball with seconds to go, he was shooting that shot. Exhibit. Next up on the list of the Ballin' MCs, Derek Fisher, Exhibit, you know. Next up on the list, Fear the Beard, James Harden. In Houston, he hustled and motivated. Nipsey Hussle. Next up on the list of the Ballin' MCs, James Harden, Nipsey Hussle, hustle and motivate. Next up on the list, Stack Jack, Steven Jackson. From where he came from now, it looked like life is worth living. Currency, both smokers, y'all know. Next up on the list of the Ballin' MCs, Steven Jackson, Currency, worth living. Next up on the list, Matt Barnes. Matt Barnes always looked like he on a 30-day run. Larry June. Next up on the list of the Ballin' MCs, Matt Barnes, Larry June, 30-day run. And of course, next up on the list, Al Harrington, the Kush God, Smoke Dizza. Next up on the list of the Ballin' MCs, Al Harrington, Smoke Dizza, Vegan Weed. Next up on the list, Nick the Quick Van Exel. Here I go, Mystical. Next up on the list of the Ballin' MCs, Nick Van Exel, Nick the Quick Van Exel, Mystical, Here I Go. Next up on the list of the Ballin' MCs, Kyle Lowry, Anderson .Paak, Ballin. Next up on the list, Richard Rip Hamilton. I think it was in the playoffs one year. He got his nose broken. He had to wear a black mask. Came out like a black savage. Royce the 5'9". Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Rip Hamilton, Royce the 5'9", Black Savage. Next up on the list, are these the mayors of Miami? UD, Udonis Haslem. Do he ever smile? Well, now I see he's smiling after he retired, but he always looked like he played no games. Trick Daddy. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Udonis Haslem, Trick Daddy, play no games. Next up on the list, Kendrick Perkins, always speaking the ghetto gospel. Killer Mike. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Kendrick Perkins, Killer Mike, ghetto gospel. Next up on the list, the playmaker, Michael Irvin. 88, You Can't See Me, MC8. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Michael Irvin, MC8, You Can't See Me. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, one of the coldest. When he got the ball, he was always going to put you in an assault for numbers. Numerical assault. Papoose. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, Papoose, numerical assault. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Jerry Stackhouse. North Carolina or in the league, when he got the ball, he was always trying to impose his will or impose my will. Have it. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Jerry Stackhouse, have it, impose my will. Next up on the list, Sebastian Telfair. He was a man child from an early age. If he got the ball, we were in trouble. Shaheem, the rugged one. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Sebastian Telfair, Shaheem, in trouble. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, Rasheed Wallace, David Banner, Who Want It? And last on this part of the list, John Wall. When he was up in DC, he was up there like the HNIC. Made it look like ABC. Prodigy. Next up on the list of the Ballin MCs, John Wall, Prodigy, ABC. That's it for part 3 of the Ballin MCs. I hope y'all really digging it. It really was a pleasure listening to these catalogs. On to part 4. See you then. Peace.